parliamentary question. So now I shocked the Danny Healy-Rae.
Thank you very much, Minister. I'm asking you to do something about escalating costs of fuel and energy that people have to bear at the present time. And what I'm asking, Minister, whatever adjective you use, whether it is a mini budget or some way that he can help to give back some of the extra tax that he is accruing as a result of the base cost of the fuel that's coming into the country has gone up. You take a greater percentage. I'm asking you please to give back some of that extra tax.
Minister.
Thank you very much, Deputy Healy-Rae, for raising what is such an important issue for so many people across the country. And as we emerge from the pandemic and as the economy recovers, we are faced with a new set of challenges, including rising energy prices and transitory supply issues that are causing prices to increase. In this context, as you know, in the budget last October, it included a range of measures to support citizens with the rising cost of living. These measures included increases to weekly social welfare rates, targeted measures with increases in the living alone allowance, the qualified child allowance, and an increase in the weekly rate of fuel allowance, with that increase implemented immediately on budget night in October, which was an exceptional measure and is not what normally occurs. However, the government is acutely conscious of the challenges still facing households, in particular relating to energy bills, and especially for those on lower incomes. And in recognition of this, we have, as you know, in recent weeks brought out a series of measures aimed at further mitigating the cost of living pressures that people are facing. These measures, as you know, Deputy, add up to over €500 million. You're well aware of what they are at this point, so I don't need to go through them in detail. We do anticipate that the electricity credit will be applied to over 2 million domestic electricity accounts in the March-April billing cycle. We will see the once-off €125 payment for fuel allowance recipients in the month of March. In the first half of this month, I anticipate the reduction in the drugs payment scheme threshold has now kicked in since today to €80. We've brought forward the improvements in the working family payment. We have announced the reduction in fares for public transport users, and also reductions in the family caps that apply to school transport scheme payments. We acknowledge as a government deputy that we're making a contribution to addressing the cost of living pressures, but they are particularly acute at this time. I'm not sure what the clock is saying. It's gone. It's gone. Okay, thanks, Deputy. Thanks, Lass.
I'd stick
Look, Minister, I appreciate all the measures that you have taken, and certainly do appreciate that. But there are a whole lot of people that haven't benefited from those gestures that he have made. And you see, especially people that are on the road, people going to work, families taking children to school, whether it is the commercial lorries and transport, their costs have gone up immensely. And industrial contractors and transporting material for roads and for building houses, school buses tied into contracts. And I have to say, it may be construed that I would have a conflict of interest in that regard, but they are tied into contracts that they can't get, that they'll have to honour, and they're suffering at the present time. Taxis, hackneys, home helps were even on to me in the last number of days that their costs, that it's hardly paying them to go to mind old people. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Deputy, we acknowledge that the current level of inflation is causing real problems for people in their day-to-day lives. We absolutely acknowledge that. When the budget was prepared last October, the forecast for inflation across this year was that it would average about 2.25%. It is now running, as you know, at about 5%, and for some elements of what people have to pay every day. It's much higher than that, especially with domestic energy bills and the price at the pumps that you've rightly highlighted. And this is placing cost pressures, in particular on people who are regular road users and people for whom alternatives may not be readily available. We are investing, as you know, through our Rural Future and through our local transport schemes, expanding local link services as part of the Connecting Ireland plan. There's a commitment to develop a grant-aided community transport service scheme through Local Link. I'm sure you will acknowledge that the plan we have brought forward in relation to retrofitting will make a real difference for people. So we do acknowledge the pressures that people are under. We do think that it will pass. We do think that it is temporary and will moderate over time, but we cannot be certain at this stage as to when we will see a reduction in those prices.
Danny Healy-Rae.
Thank you very much, Minister. Look, I appreciate, as I said, all the things that he have done, but he must do more to help people. And a minister like you that has vast experience, and I know that he wants to create employment. But if we don't protect the employment that we have, if we don't protect these people that are going to work, if we don't protect the farmers who are suffering, it's the domestic users in the finish up will suffer, because maybe food won't become available, maybe it will become too costly. And we have to ensure that life goes on. And like you said there yourself, people have a right to make a living. They're not making a living at the present time, Minister. And I'm asking you to give back some of the tax that didn't include. It's been asked of me every day that I'm out on the road, whether it is into a pub or whether it is into a supermarket, wherever I go. They're asking me why isn't the government doing what they're doing in other countries, giving back some of the tax that they're accruing, because they are accruing extra tax, and to the people that are paying it, that are actually paying it, are suffering, and they're the people we have to give some of it back to.
Thank you, Deputy.
Thank you very much,
Minister.
Minister.
Yeah, thanks very much, Deputy. I would make the case that an intervention of over €500 million outside of the budgetary context is not insignificant. That is an important intervention by government, and almost €400 million of that is going to everyone in a universal sense through the electricity credit. And people are badly in need of that, many people, and they want to see that applied to their electricity accounts as quickly as possible. Look, we are seeing a strong rebound in the economy. We have almost 2.5 million people now at work in Ireland, more than we have ever seen before. And I think we're seeing a recovery that's actually accelerating faster than many people would have predicted. But that is not to understate the challenges that are there. The government is continuing to monitor the situation. We acknowledge the pressures that people are under, but some of the measures that we have announced have yet to take effect, and even some of the measures in the budget announced last October, such as the improvement to childcare provision and childcare fees, the improvements in third-level grants, the SUSI grants, improving the eligibility thresholds, those measures have yet to kick in as well.